Hi guys, welcome to another Wednesday's Zoom networking with JJ. Obviously, I'm not JJ. My name is Justin Kramer. I'm going to be the guest host today. As per usual, just an honor to be here and to be stepping in for JJ. I'm surprised he trusts me this much to drive his boat, but I love it nonetheless and appreciate it. Can't wait for today's guest. It's going to be I got a chance to talk to this gentleman yesterday. First, got to meet him for the first time yesterday, and we had a good conversation. But boy, the topic he's got for you guys today is really important. He's just a wealth of knowledge. He's an accomplished real estate investor. He's been at it now for a good long while. As part of Amy Majori's mentorship as well. She's even been called out by Amy Majori. And just an amazing dude, and he's got a lot of good information for all of us. So I'm really honored to bring this guy up and excited to hear what he's got to say. Jamie Thunder Meyer, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
How's it going?
It's going great. How are you doing?
Good, good, good.
Good. Well, look, I'm really happy that you're here, and I really want to spread this message because it's just one of those things. We're going to be talking about raising funds, raising private money, but we're going to go into some other more important stuff, talk about 401k and things like that. And it's just important information. Not a lot of people know this information, and because it's quite honestly, if it's kept from you. So we're going to get into that later, but let's meet Jamie here. Talk to me, Jamie. So tell me, for the folks that don't know you, where are you located? Give us a little bit of information about yourself.
Yeah, so I got into real estate here. Well, it'll be 4 years here, real shortly, 4 years. And I'm located in Minnesota. I did the same thing what JJ has done, Fortune Builders. I started, like you said, it was a pop-up ad. I went to it was a 2 hour like kind of spiel thing, which then turned into a 2-day deal to get you to sign up, and then from there goes into, like you said, their program. Their program, like you said, is like a 3-day right off the get-go, where you go into properties and start looking at properties. I started, like you said, from obviously real estate is from A to Z. I started on the flipping side of things, and got into that side of things, but on the flipping side was more of a luxury flips.
Nice.
And like you said, obviously, so then luxury comes into play where you need to bring more money to the table. And again, that's where we're going to be talking about private money, where I had to bring more private money into the mix of things and private investors to fund the deals. So
yeah, because you run out of money eventually, right?
yeah.
I mean, you're eventually
and they say not to use your own money, right?
Yep. Use other people. Yep. Absolutely. Well, so let's go back just a little bit. Let's start from there earlier. So you because I think this is really interesting. So you talked about your college years and kind of how you got the name Jamie Thunder Meyer. And we'll keep it the PG version this time.
Yeah, the PG version.
Yeah.
So I was a big wrestler in high school. I didn't end up going in when I went to college. I didn't go to wrestle. I dropped. I just didn't want to do it anymore. But my thunder came from a really good, close high school buddy that I'm still really close, and he was jokingly just said, "Hey," because I wrestled. My senior year, I wrestled 112, and I basically was 11'10". I'm 5'11" now, but I was probably 5'10", 5'9" back then. So I looked like basically like a little chicken with chicken legs, and so I got all of a sudden it went from like chicken to thunder chicken. So then
nice.
stuck to that. So the thunder stuck, and there's to this day that people don't even know. Like back in my high school, people don't even know my real name because they just go by Thunder.
Just call you Thunder. That's great. So you're in college. Did you wrestle in college? You actually?
No, I did not wrestle in college.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I just went to actually totally out of the blue too. I went into machining that has nothing to do with real estate.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
And then as I finished, my parents owned 15 acres and they subdivided it off.
Mhm.
And so then that's when engineering surveying got involved, and the guy that did the work for my parents actually needed help. So then I went somehow I basically I was working machining 3 to 11 job, second shift, and then I was going to helping him out during the mornings, like from 7 to about 2ish, and then I'd go home quick, take a shower, and go to machining. And so
Wow.
it went from that to machining to full-time surveying, and then from there, like I said, 20 years later, I finally I can't totally say I tried to walk away a year ago, but a friend of mine grabbed me and he wanted me to help him with a big project. I've been on some really big highway projects, and so that's what's going on now as a huge
Yeah.
highway project. So
Well, so tell me, like, what was it about surveying that caught your interest? Was it anything in particular, or was it just, you got to go get outdoors, you got to learn about real estate kind of a thing, or
that
what?
was the main thing is I love being out. I loving being outdoors. I mean, yeah, the Minnesota winters suck. No, I won't quote you on that one, but for the most part, it's you're outside and you get to enjoy the outdoors every day. And again, that's still where I love the construction side of things, and that's where kind of basically too. I love being around real estate basically all my life because we were, like I said, surveying either commercial buildings or residential stuff. And so, like I said, pretty much been around my whole life.
Yeah, so you've been around it a long time. So from doing that, what was it that actually got you into investing? Was it sort of a smooth transition? You just started meeting the right people and kind of got into it that way, or what was it that got you into the investment side of it?
Um, well, like I said, it's Fortune Builders basically started with with that ad, and then like I said, went to Fortune Builders, got into Fortune Builders, and basically, like I said, it was like they start you from ground one, and I mean, and then I just like that's where I met Amy.
Right,
She was
right.
a coach then, and she was just strictly private money, and so
Yeah,
and they kept saying, to not to use your money to flip or whatever it is, flipping or wholesaling or whatever it is. So I'm like, okay. So then I'm like, well, we got to get somebody that can help me learn private money,
yeah.
basically. And
You get into Fortune Builders, you meet Amy Majori, you start learning about raising private money. Talk to us about that.
so I'll get into that, but our very first one was wasn't I mean it was a luxury it was on the luxury side. I mean we bought it at four. I'm trying to remember the numbers. We bought it at 425. We had 130 in the rehab and sold it for 700.
Oh, that's
And that very first property, I have a business partner with Thunder Properties, and we actually had got her parents to invest
nice.
30K. It started with 30K. Like you
So
said, you can start with anything, people. Like it's
yeah,
seriously, it can be 10K.
yeah, but
Um,
it was people you trust, right? And people who
yes.
trust you. That's
Yeah, the
probably
people that trust. Yes, that's the big one. That's the big thing. You got to get people that trust you.
yep,
You're
yep.
exactly right.
And what better way than networking, right?
Yep.
Getting out there and
Ex-
getting to know people.
Yes.
Well, so that's great. Well, I'm going to let you kind of take the wheel here because I know you've got a lot to we've got a lot to cover, a lot of really good information to go through. But I just like to say that for someone like yourself who's doing this on a daily basis, like how important is it to get out there and network like this and to meet people if you're going to be raising private money?
Oh, it's very important because, like you said, like JJ's big thing is you're invisible. If you're not putting yourself out there, nobody knows who you are, and nobody like. So then, how are you gonna get any private money if you don't? Nobody knows you. I mean, because you can only get so much from basically family, friends, and then as you want to grow, you're gonna have to get more than just family and friends. So you got to putting yourself out there, and that's what I did. I mean, I kind of basically did from day one a little bit. I was kind of, again, like everybody, don't be shy. I mean, it's hard to say that because I was same in that same boat. I was I was shy and didn't want to post this or that or whatever it was. And then finally, like I said, now I do videos all the time. If you go on you'll see at the end, the very end here, I'll show you all my stuff where you can go on mine and I do short videos. And that's the thing. It doesn't have to be very long, just short, especially short and sweet because
Yeah.
people, what is it? They you got to get their attention for that short span, and then after that, you lose them, right? So you just got to do the short ones. The other thing you guys got to think of too when you're posting stuff is education. Basically, you're educating everybody out there because there's people that have no clue what how to do things like how to be in real estate, how to do this or how to do that.
Yeah.
So you got to, like you said, basically I try to bring everything I bring out there as education, other than personal stuff here and there I throw in there. And you should do that too, like just saying, hey, I'm going on vacation to wherever and just do some short clips there or whatever. Just because people like seeing that too. Like my son, last year, he during football, he came off the football field and his girlfriend at the time asked him on the prom, and I started videoing him as soon as he got to basically the fence. I
Wow.
videoed him and why he walked up to her, and then she had this huge sign, right, and said, "Hey, would you go to prom?" Whatever.
Ah, that's awesome.
And then to the very end, and then stop. But I ended up having 60,000 people look
Wow.
at that video. Basically, like you said, it was some fun, simple video.
Yeah.
I knew she was asking because she came up and told me and said I was going to ask you, and I said, okay, I'm going to
Yeah.
video, just let you know. And she's like, that's fine. Like so, like I said, and like I said, something simple, fun like that, like
Oh,
it
light
blew.
growth. You
It
can't even
literally blew up. I just like wow, like
That's so
I
great.
never missed it.
Let's get into your talk here. We because everybody
Okay.
is really wanting to hear about this. I know
Yeah.
me especially. But before we do that, real quick. So once you got into it and you got some experience with doing the flips and raising private money, how did that open up new opportunities for you? Maybe you can kind of explain a little bit about that. How has that kind of opened up the door to a lot of new opportunities for you?
Well, like you said, it starts from one flip to the next flip to the next one, right? And so, and again, we're putting ourselves out there, right? So my next flip, I ended up having 170K private investor. And where did he find me? He found me on social media. He saw that I was posting videos, back to the videos. He loved the videos. And
Yeah.
then he reached out to me. We keep growing. We got to keep putting stuff out there, right? And so then it went from that property to our next one that I call it our $1 million property, our $1 million flip. It ended up selling for 1.1 million.
And that was
Um,
the one from last year, right? That was the one you.
yeah, I sold that one in July of last year, right? And that one again, we bought it at 650, 290 for the rehab, and then like I said, 1.1 at the all said and done.
Wow. Good for you guys, man. That's great.
So you can see here, right? Like I said, just private lender. Again, I'm not no financial advisor. I don't, you have to do your own research. You got to do your own legit. I mean, because I'm not, but I'm just letting you know that I can. So here's the $1.1 million house that we flipped, and we sold last July. It was right there. And then there's the master bathroom of that 1.5. And like you said, our mission is, like you said, our mission is, again, we all have to look as we're giving people opportunities to invest their money to grow their accounts, right? That's what, so we're giving opportunities. You got to look at it as we're giving opportunities, not like we're not asking. We're asking for money, but we're telling them that, hey, there's this opportunity for you can be a private investor, and this is what down the road what you can get.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it goes both ways. Goes both ways, right?
right. And basically, here's like you said, high returns, steady income, and so like I said, and here's 10 sources. Now here's a big one too. Now, as we educate people, is where they can draw their funds to be a private investor. And here's, like I said, 401, self-direct, trust funds, savings accounts, checking accounts, um, like I said, stocks, like I said, 401ks, if you're active one, you can only borrow percent of it, right?
Right.
But where I'm big with now is switching people to, if they have a 401k from a previous job, we turn their previous 401k into a self-direct,
Yeah.
where when you turn that into self-direct, you can just, like I said, basically that is not touching your hands. Basically, you're taking your old 401k and going right into a self-direct. So you're not getting taxed on the dollars that you get switched over, right? So
Right.
then what you can do is now leverage that self-direct account IRA to be a private investor, or you can even get on like any kind of business. Say I open a restaurant and I want to borrow 50K from, or yeah, give the opportunity for 50K for a year, and you're going to get 10% on that 50K for a year,
Right.
and whatever that ends up being, right? Here you can see this is quarter 1 of this year. There's $35 trillion in retirement assets.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's, like you said, that's huge. And all that money, again, is sitting there
Mhm.
and basically sitting there for you to, until you retire, right? Well, okay, then you get to retirement age and you're still not going to have enough. That's the other thing that people don't educate is, so roughly, I think it's roughly to 300 to 400K that you will have when you turn 65,
Mhm.
roughly, if you put, X amount of dollars away, and you'll have roughly that much. Well, that still's not going to be enough for you to make it to 90. And now the other thing that's been coming up too, I just was listening to a podcast. Now they're saying, and you can see it, the humans are living longer because a lot of people are healthy, right? And so now we're saying, instead of, I don't, the average is 90, maybe, whatever I don't know the average, but say now we're going to go to 100. Well, now there's another 10 years that adds on to.
Just increases the amount that you need. So it's like you get hit either way. Either you die before you get your retirement fund, or you
Yeah.
live so long you're going to run out of the funds that you have in your retirement fund, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's a bump. That's a crappy deal. Either way.
And here's where, kind of like what I was just talking about. So if you go on the internet, you can Google, or you can search compound interest calculator, right? And you can put in some numbers here. Like I put in 10K. If you put in 10K yearly, every year, and you're getting 8% on that 10K, or, well, which adds up, keeps adding up, right? And I put 40 years. Well, here's what you, roughly $2.6 million that you will have, the time you hit, well, that's what I'm saying, like 40 years. I mean, whenever you start this, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing, is whenever you start this. So you can, like you said, it's very interesting, that compound interest calculator. Google that and then just throw in some numbers so you can see what
Yeah.
you need to, because in this whole amount of, you can add, like, say, like you said, say you have 200K in your 401k right now, you can put that in there, and then, like you said, start throwing numbers at it and just see where. And then, like I was like, so now down here, like you said, so if you figure you want 8K a month after you're retired, right? You want 8K a month, that basically is 100K a year at, and for 30 years, you're roughly going to have 3 million to make it to, like you said, 90 some years old. It's just amazing how, like you said, people just don't understand that. They think that their money is all safe in a 401k, and it really is. It really isn't. 13 reasons why your 401k is a risky investment. So right there, I mean, like you said, and then it just gives you 13 reasons basically why your 401k, you should be looking at more than just a 401k. That's the other thing you and I kind of talked about too. Like Bitcoin, they have no control over Bitcoin right now, right? Um, and so again, that's what I'm saying. Like a self-direct, they have no control over. That's all you. That's
Right.
at this point, self-direct and crypto it's all you. But I'm not saying that they can't somehow get at it too. But and they're trying to with that crypto. But
They're always trying to. That's it. I live in California, so trust me. Like the state legislature is always figuring out new ways to pull money out of our pockets any way they can.
yeah. So here's another one. Inflation, scary. This is scary too. Um, you can see as over 2001 where it really went up, right? And then basically kind of, I mean, so basically I'm just kind of showing you, so a bank, so if I had 100K, the bank is only giving you 1%, and 100K, I'm giving you 10, right? And then say like a year thing, you're only getting 1,000 with the bank and you get 10,000 with me, right? Or with you guys, whatever you decide. And so, and then again, like us, and like I said, and the big thing with private money is with us is, and with anybody, is we like want to make sure that you're secure. If something would happen, like you said, anything can happen to us, right? So if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, my lenders, private investors that are on that property at that time, because we have a promissory note with them, and then they're on the mortgage, and then we also put them on the insurance too, right? So they're secured if something would happen to us. Basically, too, we use hard money and private. I'd like to eventually down the road just be strictly private. It's just a way easier. Hard money is just they get a lot. They get a lot. Like you said, mine are like 10 and 10% and 2 points. So they're getting a good chunk that
Yeah, that's great.
it can eat in the profit, right?
As a private money lender, is that something I can demand of somebody borrowing my money? Is like, you need to put me on the promissory note, you need to put me on the deed of trust. Is that something
You could,
required?
yeah, I don't see why you couldn't demand it. Personally, I wouldn't see why you couldn't demand it. I mean, because you want to, feel secured on it. The only thing with, the other thing with now if you go on the commercial side of things, right, for like home, multifamily stuff that I'm kind of getting into too. Now that's a little different ball game because you have multiple investors, so you're not on that mortgage, right? You're because they can't put it. It's just so big, so they can't put everybody on there, and so like I said, the commercial side is a little different. Again, and it doesn't matter if it's commercial or residential. It's an investment where nobody is guaranteed. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I can't guarantee it as much as I would like to, but something could happen. The
There's
economy
always,
could twist,
yeah,
and turn us upside down, and I have no control over that, right? So
yeah,
back to your 401k, people think, oh, that's all safe. Well, you're
yeah,
losing money if the stock market is down. You're losing money on,
yeah,
like you and I talked, like when I pulled my last 401k out, I ended up losing the month before, previous month, I ended up losing 3K
yeah. I've
because of
lost,
the, I mean, there's thousands and millions of dollars that are being lost in the 401k, but people think that's safe there. No, it's not really safe there. You just don't see that fine print if
yeah,
you're losing money. So here's kind of like I said, I just kind of this promissory note, just a generic, and then like I
recorded
said,
deed,
recorded
yeah,
deed.
sure.
And then here's some, obviously some cash, home equity loan. People use home equity loan lines to invest, personal business lines, retirement accounts, obviously, and then the good investments too.
Yep, yep.
And then again, here's just some I got right now to invest in because I went the luxury side. So a minimum of 50K to invest with me on a project, whatever it is. Because it just as you grow, you can't, like you said, not saying that you can't accept anything less, but it's just the paperwork and all that stuff. It's a lot easier when you start adding a little higher volume, right? Here's an opportunity that we have right now. This is in Florida,
Mhm.
Fort Lauderdale. we're looking at 150K. And I don't know if you guys heard this. There's the hedge funds out there now, right? And so this is a hedge fund deal where we'll buy it and you hold on. With hedge funds, you got to hold on to it for 60 days, um, and then they'll buy it from you. But in the meantime, you can still like we'll put it on the market. We'll put this on the market, and hopefully, maybe we can sell before the hedge fund and for the same amount.
Mhm.
But it's not guaranteed, And if it's lower, then we'll just hold on to it, because we have all that cost figured in, right?
Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
And so this one,
You'll
like I
get-
said, we're offering 50%, and roughly you're gonna make 22K in
wow,
six
that's
months.
great.
In 6 months.
It's a 15% return for the entire 150.
Yep.
Is it still 15% if someone were to give you, say, 100,000?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. And then here's this again, here's another kind of a demo. Here's like you said, the bank. If you did 150K, borrowed 150K, and we give them 10%, you're making roughly 5K, right? And then if you went the bank side, again, you're only getting one and a half or 1.2, and you're only making $600.
Yep.
So, great, your great ROI. And then here's the one I was telling you guys earlier is here's our private investor. This one we bought it at 525. The rehab was 175, I believe, and we sold it for 850. So, like
Where
I
was
said,
this?
here's
Where was this located?
in Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
My $1 million one is Minnesota. This one's Minnesota. There's all four of mine are from Minnesota. Then, like you said, there's a couple now out of state. Like you saw that Florida one though.
Yeah.
Again, like he would 170. We paid him 12%, and it ended up being 7 months long. And his return was basically 14K. And then he gave us a little brochure, little thing for you to see.
Nice. I like that. That's great.
And then here's all my stuff. You guys can
Take Jamie's information down.
Yeah.
He's and let's show him, Jamie. If you want to show him yourself, since you got your screen up, you want to show him your website, show him
Oh yeah.
maybe your website and your Facebook.
As soon as you click on it, you can put your name and your email list or an email, and you can get on the list, right? And then like you'll see me throw out different opportunities.
Yeah.
And then here's my basically website here.
Cool. And do you have any kind of mentorship, or is it would you guys recommend people go check out Amy Majori?
Oh yeah, she turned my ball game around from just learning more on how to raise private money and basically put yourself out there. I mean, she's amazing. She really is amazing. I learned a lot from her, and we're still, like I said, I still learn stuff from her. And then, like I said, now I get the opportunity to be on her stage, which is great. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and put up your contact information just for a second, just so everybody can grab it. And but listen, Jamie, amazing information, and I really appreciate you sharing all this stuff, guys. Again, if you haven't looked up what you're paying on your 401k, I would suggest you do that, and also check out doing self-directed. So how are you finding these private money lenders? Like, what is your process for finding the private money lenders? I know you gave us a breakdown of your brochure and obviously your website, that's a part of it. But maybe you could describe a little bit how you actually find them.
Well, so if you say when you go on when you guys go on my social media there and look, so basically I'm gearing all my social media to basically just small clips of whatever I'm doing, but then I'm saying, hey, it's be a private investor, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm gearing everything like showing like what to be how to be a private investor, or you know what I'm saying, or like you said, just clips of that, how to being a private investor and stuff like that. That's basically, like you said, again, I'm putting myself out there and just keep, and like you said, again, this is not going to happen overnight. I've been doing this for, like you said, 4 years, and
Yeah,
I mean, it didn't happen overnight.
that's right.
I just keep chipping away at it. And again, it's a marketing thing. You got to market yourself when you got to put it out there. And the other thing too, people we got to look at too is because, like you said, we're not guaranteed for tomorrow. We
Right.
don't, we could get hit by a bus. We whatever. And I can give you exactly an example. And I was going to bring it up too,
Yeah.
Justin. I didn't talk about it last night, but here back in March of this year, I ended up having open heart surgery unexpectedly. It started in November of last year.
Wow.
I went to my yearly physical, and again, there I recommend everybody get your yearly physicals, because who's to know what really? I mean, I would have never caught this if it wasn't a yearly physical. My doctor listened to my heart and thought and listened, and it was something was wrong. He's like, something's wrong. We got to dig into deeper. And here, I had open heart surgery, and then one of my valves wasn't closing correctly, so all of the blood wasn't going all the way. It wasn't going out, and so it was pushing back. And so then what it does is it expands your heart, and then as you keep going, and then eventually your heart can only handle so much, and then it would have let go, right? And after talking to my surgeon, after the surgeon he's like, you were that close. And so,
That's a
like I
really
said, I can't stress enough, guys, that we got to not only realize that tomorrow is not guaranteed, but to keep ourselves healthy. Like I mean, I was pretty healthy, and top it off, I was pretty healthy. I was going to the gym quite a bit, and that's again there. My doctor said that's what prolonged it, because I hear to find out, all said and done, that I was probably born with
oh,
it. And
wow.
as we get older, shit gets weaker, right?
Yep.
And so basically, me being in really good shape prolonged it so even longer. And then he said, eventually, you can't prolong it anymore,
You
and then
can't
it's
prolong
going
it
to give.
anymore. That's right. Yeah.
That was a good chart that you have. So you said the but the devil's kind of in the details. So if you could go a little bit more into the details of that, and I'm assuming this is kind of like you typically have to educate your PMLs too, right? Some of them
Yeah,
when they're coming
yeah,
on. And if you could talk a little bit about how that education goes, like you said, nothing is risk free, but um, yeah, just how does that conversation go to at least tell them how you mitigate their risks, not reduce it altogether, but how you mitigate
right.
it.
Right. And the other thing too, if you got, like for you, well, and even myself, if there's a question that I get drilled by that I do not know the answer, I'll just say, hey, I'll get back to you. I got team members that I'll get that answer for you, and I'll get back to you.
The hazard one, I have not heard that come up before. So are you asking them to get a hazard?
No, 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 no. You have, again, I'm sure, or at least all of us, or mine is, so you have, when you're flipping a house, you got to put insurance on it, right? In case something happens.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so
You just put them on it.
yeah, it's a policy, just a short-term policy that we put them on in case, again, if something would happen, they're there.
Yeah. By the way, that's a ninja move going for properties in Guadalajara. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, sub two also, if we can figure out the loopholes to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
There's
awesome.
always a way. Don't
There
ever
is.
expect
I'm not
no
giving up. I'm not
answer.
giving up.
Yeah, there's always a
Thank,
way.
thank you.
Yeah. Pace has a really great example of how there's always an answer. You know, when you go into your bank and you have a check, right? And you go to the teller and the teller says, well, we can't cash this check here. You're going to have to go to your home branch, or you're going to have to go to, a different branch or something. It's usually because of the amount, or maybe you don't have an account with them for some reason, right? And so the teller tells you for whatever reason they can't cash your check. Pace went to his bank, which at the time I believe was Chase, but he walked in, he had a check, and it was a large check, and they wouldn't cash it for him. And just to prove them wrong, the teller said that it's not possible for them to cash that check. That's literally what the teller told him, is we cannot cash this check. It's not possible for us to cash this check because of the amount or whatever.
Yeah.
Just to prove them wrong, he went to the branch by his house, which whatever, and they cashed it for him. He drove back to that branch where they told him they couldn't cash the check, just to show them, I went and did your job for you. I went and did your job for you and got this cash by the same branch, by another branch down the road. So when somebody tells you something can't be done, don't take that as gospel.
There's a way. There's always a way.
Yeah.
There's always a way.
Yeah. Because they just don't know, right? It's usually because they just don't know the answer.
Yeah.
So anyway, I love it. Thank you, Charlotte.
Hey, I do have a quick question. Maybe it's just a niche or something like that, but I have several relatives that have a lot of money in their 401ks and stuff like that, and they think they're set. And you know, I've got an uncle that's retired from UPS. He's got several $100,000 in a 401k, and how do you convince them that, hey, buy some real estate, invest with me, and let's throw that $400,000 to $800,000?
Well, right there, you gotta, again, like you saw some of my stuff, you gotta educate them, right? You gotta tell them that your 401k is not, that's not going to be enough. So let's invest, you know, and start with a small amount. Say it's only 50K or whatever, or 30K, whatever it is, just so then they understand, you know, what it's really like, right? Because like 90% of the time you get a private investor, good chance that they're going to continue with you. They just want to keep their money rolling, right? So like you said, all my investors keep it rolling. They want to keep it rolling. Like, hey, okay, they made that profit. Say, you know, they made the 14K profit like he did. So now he takes that 14K, but then he still gives me that 170 back again and says, hey, okay, next property.
Yeah.
You know, so you just keep rolling. But like you said, just the small amount for family, maybe just to get them to understand how it really is.
Yeah.
I like that part about you said the government actually owns your 401k.
They do.
You know, I mean, you know, I know all bank accounts that are federally insured up to a certain point.
Yep.
You know, when you exceed those limits, you're too bad.
What do like you said, you have 100K in the bank. They're making money on your 100K. They're only giving you 1%, and they're making whatever on that your 100K. Like they're making money.
Yep.
Yeah, they're even they're loaning it out at a minimum of 7% now.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. People don't realize that the bank's actual working hours are not 9 in the morning to 5 at night. Their actual working hours are from 5:30 p.m. till I think like 7 in the morning, something like that, which is when they're taking your money and investing it in the markets, right? They're taking your money and investing it in foreign markets, wherever that money's going. It's locked up. That's when their business hours are actually the business hours that the banks open to us, when we can walk in and pull money out. They're still investing at that time, but that's why at certain times of the day, like why can't I go to the ATM and pull out all of the money from my bank account? They're only going to let you pull out so much in cash from an ATM. And that's why, because that money's tied up. That money's being invested.
Yep.
So, yeah. Cool. Well, thank you, Teddy. Did that answer your question, though?
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing all of this with us. Again, Jamie, you can reach Jamie at his website. And again, what was it? Thunder. Let's bring it up one more time.
That one's got my email plus it's got my www.thunderproperties.com.
So thunderproperties.com. We got this up for a second time. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and scan the QR codes, get his information. Before I end this call, for those of you who are not familiar with JJ's networking, maybe folks that are watching on YouTube right now, go to JJ's site here. I'm going to share my screen. Go to JJ's site. When you go to jjazizian.com, it's going to take you to this initial page here where it shows register now. Come over to JJ's site and register. Sign up and become a part of the group. He's got hundreds and hundreds of recordings, if not more. All the rock stars from Sub 2, all the rock stars from Fortune Builders. I mean, he's got a ton of people, a ton of amazing content, and JJ's been doing this for a long time. And he's doing Zooms on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Come join us, be a part of it, start networking, because it's not who you know, it's who knows you, right? And then again, JJ's Mastermind Facebook group is right here. But get on there and sign up, guys. It's worth it. Again, Jamie Thunder Meyer, thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for all the amazing knowledge. And we'll catch you guys later.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time.